Hey everyone, Sean Watase here, back with another video, and in today's tutorial video, we're going to be building our very own NFT creator app. And essentially what this application is going to do is allow our user to select a few different attributes that they want their NFT to look like. So we'll give them a set selection of backgrounds and a selection of images that they can choose, and we'll let our user create and build their own NFT. And once they find or build something that they like, they can then mint the NFT to their wallet. So unlike other NFT projects where the metadata is already created, our user will actually be able to create and form their own metadata and create their own NFT, which they'll be able to mint through our application. So an overview of what we're going to cover in this video, we'll first take a look at a demo of the application we're going to build. We'll then look through a workflow of how everything works behind the scenes. We'll then deploy our very own smart contract using thirdweb, and then we'll jump into our code editor to build out our NFT creator project. So with all of that being said, let's jump on the computer here first. Let's take a look at a demo of what we're going to be building today. So right here on my computer, this is my application here. You first start off with a connect wallet button. So a user has to connect a wallet in order to use our app so we can send them the NFT. So hit connect. We'll just select MetaMask here to connect with our MetaMask wallet. And once we are connected, you can see here that we now have a few selections here that we can choose for our NFTs. So we can select the background. Let's say we want red, and then we can select a shape, let's say a circle. We'll get a preview of what our NFT here will look like. So you can see here, red background, we can change it to blue. We can change the shape to a triangle if we wanted to. And then the last thing we need to do here is create a name. So we can just say YouTube video NFT. Once we select all the parameters that we need to create our NFT, which is just the background, the shape, and the name, we can select mint NFT here. So you can see here, it is minting our NFT. And once our NFT is minted, we should see that our NFT has been minted successfully. I'm going to come back to my NFT collection or my contract dashboard here on thirdweb. And if I come over to the NFTs tab here, you can see we minted our NFT here with our blue background, our triangle, and our title here is our YouTube video NFT. So again, this is what we're going to be building, where we'll give the option of different things that our user can create their NFT with, background colors. If you've done PFP NFT artwork before, you can do the different layers. The user can select maybe their head, clothes, facial expressions, and everything on their NFT, and they'll be able to build and create their own instead of getting something randomly generated for them. And then what we'll do is we'll then create the image, upload it, and mint the NFT for them. So we'll actually take a look at just a quick workflow of how everything is happening behind the scenes, and then we'll get into building our project. So when a user first lands on our project, a user is going to select the layers or the details of their NFT. What they'll be choosing is, for our demo here, is the shape and the background that they want for their NFT. So once they select the color of the background and the shape they want, we'll be using a canvas on our front-end application. And once they choose that, we'll then flatten the image of the canvas and we'll upload that image to IPFS. So when we upload the image to IPFS, we're then going to create the metadata with that IPFS hash as the image, and then we're going to mint the NFT to the wallet. So ideally what's happening in these steps here is we are going to make a request and we're going to use thirdweb's engine in order to mint the NFT. So when we create the request, we're going to parse through our form data and get the image, the NFT name, and the address that we need to send the NFT to. Again, we're going to upload that image to IPFS and create that NFT metadata. And then we're going to mint the NFT to the connected wallet address of the user. And we're going to use that NFT metadata as the metadata of the NFT to mint. And that's the process of how we're going to be able to create NFTs that our users have created on demand. Now, as far as the smart contracts go, we're going to be using an NFT collection. This is an ERC-721 contract. We do have two different types of ERC-721 contracts. The NFT collection is the non-claimable contract, and only the backend wallet that's used with our thirdweb engine and the owner wallet will be able to deploy or mint NFTs to this contract. Not anyone can mint NFTs to this contract, but because we're going to be using engine and we're going to be calling our backend wallet to do all the transactions, the blockchain transactions for us, the backend wallet is going to be the one minting the NFTs for every user that creates an NFT. What we'll be doing though is transferring that NFT to the wallet that's connected to the application. So the backend wallet here, what that's going to be doing is minting the NFT with the metadata and then sending it over to the wallet that is connected to the app when it was created. That's just a quick overview of the workflow of how everything's going to work. Again, user selects the shapes and backgrounds. We flatten that image. We upload that image to IPFS, create the metadata, and then mint that NFT to the connected wallet. So with that being covered, let's deploy our contract first. So we'll head on over to thirdweb. We're going to come back home. You can connect your wallet in the top right. And we're going to come over to the contracts tab. We're going to select deploy contract here in the top right. And we're going to scroll down to the NFTs category here. And we're going to look for NFT collection. So we're going to select that. And we're going to select deploy now here in the top right. We'll name our project here. We'll just call this YouTube NFT creator video. We'll give this a symbol. We'll call this creator. You can give it a description. You can add an image. And you can fill out all of the parameters here that you want for your smart contract. But at the very bottom here, we have to select the network or chain we want to deploy this to. You can select the dropdown here. We support any EVM compatible blockchain, so you can just search the network name or chain ID here. For this tutorial, we're just going to use the Mumbai testnet, and I'm going to select deploy now. We'll get a transaction here that pops up. We just have to pay the gas to deploy the contract, so we'll hit confirm. And once it's deployed, you will get a second pop-up here asking for a signature request to add this contract to your thirdweb contract dashboard. We're going to sign this so that we can take a look at it here on thirdweb. And once that has been deployed, you'll be directed to your contract dashboard. So we'll give it a moment here. And there you go. We're brought to our NFT contract dashboard here. And here you can see we can view things like the NFTs, which we don't have anything minted to our contract yet, but we are going to make sure that we can create our application to allow users to mint NFTs here. So we have our contract deployed. That's all we're going to need right now. And the next thing we're going to do is start building out our application. So I'm going to head on over to my terminal here, and I'm going to run npx thirdweb create app. We're going to name our project. So I'll just call this YouTube NFT creator app. And we're going to use Next.js and TypeScript here. And once that's done, we'll change into this project. So YouTube NFT creator app. And we're going to open this up in our code editor. And now that we have this open in our code editor here, we're going to do a few things to set up our project first before we start building it out. So first thing we're going to do is head into the pages folder, and we're going to go to the underscore app.tsx file. And what we need to set up first is going to be this thirdweb provider here. And we need a minimum of two things. We need the client ID here, which is going to be stored in a .env file with this variable name here. So we come back to our file directory. We'll see this .env.example file, and we'll see where we have to add our client ID. Now our client ID is our thirdweb API key. So coming back to thirdweb's dashboard here, if you come to the settings tab, I'm just going to open this in another tab here. You'll see you have your API keys here, and you just need to create an API key, and you'll be given a client ID. If you want to learn a little bit more about API keys in detail, we'll link down in the description below links to documentation along with a tutorial video that goes more in depth of API keys. But I'm just going to take my client ID here, come back to my code editor, and paste that in. I'm going to come back to my file directory and actually rename this file here. We're going to get rid of the .example and make sure that it's just .env here. And coming back to the underscore app.tsx, we have set up our client ID. Now we need to set up our active chain. And by default, the active chain is this variable up here, and it is set to Ethereum. We're going to change this to whatever chain or network you deployed your contract to. In my case here, I used Mumbai, so I'm going to change that over to Mumbai. And that's all we need to do to set up our thirdweb provider. Now, there are other options that you can set up, but that's all we're going to do for this application here, and that's all we need. Next, I'm going to come back here, and in the pages folder, head on over to the index.tsx file. And you'll see here that there is some boilerplate code that is given to you when you create a project through thirdweb. So we can actually take a look at this. We'll open up my terminal here and run yarn dev. We'll open this up here. And there you go. This is the boilerplate code you get. You see we have a connect wallet button and everything here and some links to our portal, dashboard, and templates. Now, if we take a look at our demo application, I'm going to sign out here. We want to only show a connect wallet button if we don't have a wallet connected. And once we have a wallet connected, we then want to show the application and allow a user to create and mint their NFT. Now, we don't want to show this off the bat because if we don't have a wallet address to send this NFT to, then we won't be able to mint the NFT, which is why we want to make sure that there is a wallet connected first before displaying all of this. And we can do that by creating a connect wallet button here and using a hook from thirdweb. So coming back to our code editor, I'll drop this down. I'm going to delete all of this in here really quick. So just delete all that. And I'm just going to throw in an empty div here. We'll get rid of this stuff here. We don't need that. We'll leave the connect wallet because we're going to add that in just a moment. But we're going to create a variable here called address. And we're going to use a hook from thirdweb called useAddress. And what useAddress does is it returns us a string of the wallet address that is connected to our application. But if there is no wallet connected, it's going to return us undefined. And we can use that undefined to see if there is a wallet connected or not. And that can help us choose whether or not to display our application. So if we say if there is no address, then we can return. And we'll just put in a div here, and within that div, we'll add a connect wallet button. And I'm just going to give this div some styling here to center our button into the middle of the page. So again, if there is no wallet connected, we'll display a connect wallet button. And if there is a wallet connected, then we'll just say, we'll show a connect wallet button again, so we can disconnect our wallet. So we'll show another connect wallet button, but below that, we'll just say, you are connected. So if we come back to our app here, come back here, we've refreshed the page really quick. You can see we have a connect wallet button in the middle. And if I hit connect with MetaMask, once we're connected, you can see here, we display our connect wallet button and we now display you are connected. So back in our code editor here, this is where we're going to build out our application, but this is what is displayed if we don't have a wallet connected. So if we take a look at our demo app here, once a wallet's connected, we want to display the ability to select the background along with the shapes and create a name. So we'll build out this left section here, and then we'll build out our canvas here on the right after that. So what we're going to do here is we have some images already pre-built, some colored backgrounds and some shapes. And I'm going to drag that into our project really quick. So I'm going to come to my code editor here and I'm going to open my file directory and we're going to put them into this public folder right over here. So I'm just going to drag these into my public folder. So we have background 1, 2, and 3, which is background. You see a green, blue, and red one. And then we have shape 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to use these selections here to create the selections that our user can choose to create their NFT. Now, in this case, you'll upload your own layers that you want to merge together in order to create the NFT. You can do multiple layers, just like you would like a PFP NFT or however you want to do it. But just for this example, we're just going to do a background color and a shape. So coming back to the index.tsx file, let me just close this, minus this. We're going to create a few variables here. So we're going to create a variable here called backgrounds. And it's going to be an array of our background images. So we're just going to link our background images there. And then we're going to do the same thing for our shapes. Create an array, link our shapes here. There we go. So we now have our backgrounds and we have our shapes. And we're basically going to map through these arrays here to display the options that our user can use. So coming down here, we're going to now start building out our application. So we're going to build a div here. I'm going to give this div some styling. Again, just to style everything on our page here, we're going to make it a flex row. We're going to align things at the top and justify everything to the center. Give it a little bit of a margin on the top here. I'm just going to delete this for now. We're going to add another div in here. And for this one, what we're going to do, this is going to be the left-hand side here. So we're going to display flex column, flex start. We're going to give it some background color, border radius, and some margin on the right. And in here, we're going to create our connect wallet button. And we'll just give this connect wallet button a quick styling of a width of 100%. Then below that, we're going to create a div, and this div will have a title that says select a background. We'll have another div that says select a shape. And then we'll have a final div here that's going to say create a name. And that's going to be our 3 sections there. So if we save this, come back to our app, we come back to 3001 here. You can see here, we have our card, we have our connect wallet button. It says select background, select shape, and create a name. So we're going to create our selections here and our input to create a name. So for our background here, what we're going to do is display our background images. So we're going to actually map through our array of backgrounds. And for each item that we get, we're going to get a background back, and we're going to create here our image that we're going to display. So we're going to display an image. Image is going to need a key, which is going to just be our background. We'll set the source here to our background as well. And then what we're going to do here is we are going to create a state variable so that whatever background we choose, we set as the background for our image that we're going to display in our canvas. So we're going to come up here, we're going to create a variable, we'll call this background, and we're going to use state here. We'll just import that. So it's going to be a string, and it's going to be our whichever background file we choose from up here, we're going to set here as our background. So we come back down here, we have image. On click, we're going to be setting our background, and then we're going to give it a little bit of styling here. And depending if it is selected or not, we'll give it a border radius here of a royal blue. So if we save that and we come back to our app, you can see here we have our 3 different color backgrounds displayed. And if we select it, you can see we now have a blue border that gets added to the selected image. So we'll do the same thing for shapes down here. So we'll come back up top here. We'll create another state variable for shape. Again, setting it to a string. We're going to use one of these shape values here. Coming down here, we're going to go under shape. We're going to get our shapes, map through it. And then for each shapes, we're going to get a shape. And then for each one, we're going to get our image here. We'll set the key to shape. We'll set the source here to shape as well. And I think I'm missing one here. Then we'll set the on click to set the shape. And then depending on if it is selected or not, we'll add a blue border around it. So again, coming back here, we have, there we go, fix that. And then come back here. So we can now select a background. Now we can also select a shape. Why aren't we getting it? On click, we set shape. Oh, we need to set shape here. There we go. Because I copy and pasted it. We'll make sure we set the border to shapes. And coming back here. Oh, why are they all on now? Oh, we'll just name this sh here using the variable twice. So shape, set shape to shape. And if shape equals shape, there we go. So now we can select the shape and we can select the background color. And once the user has selected those, we should be able to show a preview here using a canvas. And once they select their image that they want and hit mint, we'll flatten that image on the canvas and upload that to IPFS. So next thing we need to do is create the canvas here to show the preview of the NFT or image that the user is creating here. So we're going to come up top here below our state variables. We're going to create a variable called our canvas ref. And this is going to equal our use ref here. We'll import to that of the HTML canvas element. We'll set that to null. Then we're going to create a use effect to update our canvas here. So create a use effect. And this is going to be based on our background and shape. So again, when our user has background and shape selected or they start toggling through, we should update our canvas here. So we'll first check if there is no canvas ref. We'll return here, and this just exits if canvas ref is not assigned yet. We'll then create a variable for our canvas, which is going to equal our canvas ref.current. And then we're going to upload our context. This is going to be our canvas, and we're going to say get context, and this is going to be a 2D canvas here. And if we have a background selected, and we have a shape selected, and we have our canvas context, we're going to create our preview here. So we're going to create a background image here. This is going to equal a new, we'll do global, global, this image. Then our background image dot on load is going to display our context dot, we'll do clear react, and then context dot draw to create our image. So draw image, and then on top of our background image here, we're going to create our shape image, and we're going to make sure that our shape image is drawn on top of our canvas here. And again, we're just setting the shape image and then we're setting it to 0, 0. And of course, depending on our canvas width and height here. Same thing with our background. So once we have the shape on and the background on, we can set the background image source to background, and this should update our canvas accordingly to the image and shape that we have. So again, this use effect is just taking our background image, setting it, and then setting our shape image anytime we change the background or shape that the user has selected. And then down here, we can add this canvas. So we're going to come down below this div here. We're going to create another div. This is going to be where we display our canvas. And we're going to put in our canvas here, which is going to have a reference of our canvas ref. We'll set the width and height to 500, and we'll just give it a little bit of a border and a margin top. So now if we come back to our app, once we select a background and a shape, you should see here that we can now see our selections appear here on the right of the preview of our canvas. So again, our user can now select and create their combination of how they want to create their NFT. Next thing we need to do is create the input here where a user can input the name of the NFT, and then we'll create the function to actually mint this NFT. So let's add that input in. So under the create name here, or actually first let's create a state variable here for the input. So we're going to create one for NFT name, and we'll use a string. We'll keep it as an empty string here. For later on too, we're going to do a state variable for is NFT minting, and we'll set that to false. But we'll come down here, we'll create our input. So in this create name, we'll create an input here. It is going to be of type text. We'll set a placeholder here that says NFT name. We'll set the value to our NFT name state variable. On change, we'll set the NFT name state variable to whatever we have in our input. Then we'll add some styling here just to add some padding and a border. We'll set the width to 100. We'll also set the width of this div here to 100 as well. And coming back to our app, we now have this input where we can put in our NFT name. And what we want to do is check to see if a user has selected both the background and shape and has entered an NFT name. We should then display the mint button, allowing the user to mint the NFT. If they don't have the name or they don't have their image selected, we shouldn't allow them to mint because we need all of that stuff in order to create the NFT. So coming back here under our div with our input here, so right over here, we're going to check to make sure, one, we have our background selected, we have a shape selected, and we have an NFT name. Then we're going to display a button here. And depending if the NFT is minting, oh, did we spell minting wrong? We spelled minting wrong. It should be minting. There we go. So if the NFT is minting, it's going to say minting. And if it's not, then the button will just say mint NFT. We'll give the button some styling here. And the button will be disabled if the NFT is minting, and we're going to create an on-click function for this to mint the NFT in just a moment. But if we come here, so if we say select our background and color and we name our NFT, we should see a NFT mint button here, which a user can select and then mint the NFT. So we now are starting to get our application laid out. We have all of the components here of a user being able to select the background and shape of their NFT. They can preview it here. They can create their name. And we now have all of the information to go ahead and now mint the NFT for the user once they click this button here. And again, what we're going to be doing is using thirdweb's engine. And now thirdweb's engine is just, think of it as a Web3 backend that you can do blockchain transactions with without having to necessarily have the user go through all of the Web3 user experiences or UX that they would normally have to go through. So when a user hits mint NFT, what it's actually going to do, if we look back at our workflow here, it's going to send a request to our backend, which is engine, which is going to parse through our form data. It's going to grab the image that the user created. It's going to get the NFT name along with the address that we need to send this NFT to. An engine has a backend wallet that's set up, and that backend wallet does all the transaction and blockchain execution for us. So we're going to upload the image, it's going to mint the NFT, and it's going to send it to the wallet. So all the user needs to do that is using our application is have a wallet connected that they want to receive the NFT to and hit NFT. All again, the transactions, the gas, and everything is all going to be handled backend by engine. So we're going to come back to our code editor, and under our pages folder here, I'm going to create a new folder called API. And in that API folder, I'm going to create a new file called mintnft.ts. And this is where we're going to create our request to engine to do all of the things that we need to do behind the scenes and not need to show it to our user, creating a more seamless process for them. Now, I'm going to open up my terminal here, and we're going to have to install a couple things. So I'm going to yarn add, and we're going to add thirdweb-dev/storage, and we're going to add thirdweb-dev/engine. So we're going to install both of those there. There you go. So once we have that, we'll just close this here. And we're going to now again create our request here. Now, first thing we're going to do is export a config here, and we're going to add API, and we're going to set body parser to false. We're actually going to submit a form data with our request here, and we're going to use formidable to parse through our form. So actually, I forgot to add that. So we'll do yarn add formidable. And then over here, we're going to export our default async function called handler. We're going to import next API request and next API response from next. And we're going to create our request here. So we're going to check first if our request method, so request method is not equal to post. So if we're not sending a post request, we're going to return a status 405 saying method is not allowed. We'll then create a variable for our form here, which will be a new incoming form. We'll import this from formidable. So import incoming form from formidable. We're getting an error of type. Okay, let's because we're using TypeScript here, let's install our types from formidable. So let me just install that real quick. There we go. So now we have our form. We're going to take that form and we're going to parse through this ourselves with formidable. So this is going to be a sync function here, and we're going to parse through our request. And if there is an error, we're going to set our response to a status 500 saying that there was an internal error. And next thing we're going to do is get everything from our form data. And by everything, I mean we need to get the image, which is going to equal, if we have a files.image, image, we're going to get our files.image, and we should be able to get the first and only image that we are going to have in our request, or we set get null. Then we're going to get the name, which we're going to, from our array, get the field names. Again, getting the field name of the first input. And then the same thing for address here. We're going to get our address from our form data as well. We're going to then check if we don't get an image, name, or address, we'll set a response of status 400 saying that we're missing the required fields in order to mint the NFT. Again, we need all three of this in order to successfully mint an NFT to the user. Next, we're going to get some variables that we're going to need in order to use engine. So we're going to need our thirdweb engine URL, our thirdweb engine access token, the backend wallet we're going to be using, the contract address of our NFT smart contract, and our thirdweb secret key. And we'll go into our env file after this to add those in. These are just the things that we're going to need, but we'll go over that in a bit. So we're then going to check if we don't have any one of those things missing. Again, we need all of those variables. We'll set a response of status 500 saying that there was not an internal server error, or say missing environment variables. Then what we're going to run is a try catch. In the catch here, we'll just set a response of status 500. And we'll send .json, and then we'll set the error to error.message, and then we'll set this to type any. And in the try here, we're going to, again, first need to upload our NFT. So if we take a look back here, we parsed through the data already. What we next need to do is upload our image to IPFS and then mint the NFT to the address using the metadata that was created for the NFT. So again, we parsed through the information already. The next thing we need to do is upload our image to IPFS, and we can actually do this with thirdweb storage. So we're going to create a variable here called storage, which is going to be a new thirdweb storage. And to set our thirdweb storage, we do need to give it our secret key, which is going to be our thirdweb secret key that we're going to store in our environment variable here. Next, we need to get our file data. So we'll create our file data here, which we're going to read from our image that we are given. So we're actually going to use fs, and we're going to import here fs from fs, and come down here and fs.read file sync. We're going to set to our image dot file data, or what do we call this? Image, and we're getting an image. Can I find image? Oh shoot! We are putting this in the wrong section here. This should all be within this here. There we go. And then this should be .file path. Right, there we go. So image.file path. Then we're going to upload this to our IPFS. So we're going to get back a URI, which we're going to use in the metadata. And this is going to equal, and we'll await our storage.upload, and we're going to upload our file data. So the image that we get, we're going to upload to IPFS. We're going to get back the URI, or the IPFS hash from that. And then we're going to create our metadata with all of that. And the metadata is going to be the name of our NFT, which is going to be the name that the user created that we got through our form data here and stored in name. We'll then have a description, which we'll set our own description here saying NFT was created with NFT creator app. And then we're going to set the image, which is going to be the URI of the image that we just uploaded to IPFS. Next, we're going to get an instance of engine and mint this NFT using engine. So new engine. And with our engine, we need to provide it with the engine URL, which is going to be our thirdweb engine URL. And then we have our access token, which is going to be our thirdweb access token. Again, we'll go through what those are in a bit when we store those and create those variables in our environment variable. But then finally, we need to create our requests, which in that we'll get a response back, and we're going to await. And with engine, we are going to use our ERC-721 because, again, our NFT collection contract is an ERC-721. And we're going to call the mint to function, which is going to again allow us to mint an NFT to a specific address using our backend wallet. So we're going to set the first thing is our chain. And in this case, I use the Mumbai for our chain. Again, you'll set that to whichever chain you deployed your contract to. Next is the contract address that we're interacting with, which we're going to store in our environment variable under thirdweb contract address. After that is the backend wallet. So we'll set this to our thirdweb backend wallet. And then finally is our request body, which it needs two things: the receiver of who's getting the NFT and then the metadata of our NFT. So we have our receiver here, which is going to be the address. And then we have our metadata, which is the metadata that we just created up here. And then we'll set our response of status 200, that everything was successful. And finally down here, we'll set fs dot unlink sync image file path just to clear the data of the image that we just created. And that does it for our request here to use engine. Now, next, let's get our environment variables set here. So in your .env file, you're going to add your thirdweb engine URL, your thirdweb access token, backend wallet, contract address, and secret key. Now, your thirdweb engine URL is going to be the URL that you have your instance of engine running on. And if you want to, you can come back to your thirdweb dashboard, and then under the engines tab here, you can see your instances of engine and you can get your URL right over here. Now, if you want to run a local instance of engine, you can. We have some documentations and a video of that. We'll link that down in the description below. Or you can create your own instance. We can create one here, which is going to be one that you can host engine with thirdweb, and there's no setup on your end. It's just a $99 a month fee. We'll get an engine instance up and running for you, and you can access it right here in your engine dashboard. Or you can create your own instance with engine, and you can follow our documentations to get your own self-hosted version up and running as well. Again, all of the information for that will be down in the description below. We're not going to go over how to set up engine in this video. Next, you're going to need your thirdweb engine access token. So coming back here in your engine dashboard. So let me just access our engine dashboard here. Under permissions here, you're going to have access tokens, and access tokens allows you to use the engine SDK and allows the API access to your engine instance. So you'll create an access token here. You'll be given your access token, which you can then put in. The backend wallet here, again, this is the wallet that is being used with engine, and this is the wallet that's going to be executing all of the on-chain transactions. So in your engine here, if we go to overview, you can view all your backend wallets here, and you can create or import your own backend wallets. And you can see here, this is my backend wallet. It's loaded with some Matic again. This is going to be taking care of all the transactions and everything and paying for the gas to mint the NFTs to the user. Then we have our thirdweb contract address, which we're going to add our contract address of our NFT collection that we deployed earlier, which is this one right here. So we'll copy that contract address and add it in. And then we have our thirdweb secret key. So we have our client ID. And when you do create a thirdweb API key, you're given your secret key at the time of creation. So you're going to put in that secret key here. And that will be all of the environment variables that you need in order to, again, use engine and make our request to mint that NFT on the back end. So I'm going to add all of that in and head back to our index.tss file. So I added all of my environment variables in, and we can now create our function for our mint button here. And what we're going to do is right above here, below our use effect, we're going to create our function called send NFT mint request, which is going to be a async function. And in here, we're going to have our, we'll just say a blob, which will be a blob. And this is going to be our image here, which we're going to convert to a blob and send that over so that we can upload that image to IPFS. So what we're going to do here is create a new form data, which is going to be new form data. And in our form data, we are going to first append our image, which is going to be the blob that we get from our function. And we're just going to say nft.png. We're then going to get our form data for our NFT name, and then the form data for our address, which is going to be our address or some empty strings if we don't have address there. And we need to change that to blob. There we go. So once we have that form data set, we can submit our request with that form data. So we're going to set is minting NFT to true here, then run a try catch. In the catch here, we'll just run console error. And then in our try here, we're going to submit our request. So we're going to get our response back, and we are going to await and fetch our API / mint NFT. We're going to set our method to post and our body to form data. We're going to get our data here from our response.json. And then if our response is not okay, we'll just throw an error. And if everything goes through, then we're going to alert that our NFT was minted successfully. So again, that's going to be our send mint request here. Now, before we finish this off, we do need to create a function that gets our blob and flattens the image of our canvas here so that we can submit that with our mint request. So we're going to create a function here called convert canvas to blob, which we're going to get create a variable here called canvas, which is going to equal our canvas ref.current. And if we have our canvas set, then we're going to say canvas.toBlob, which will then take our blob. And then if we have a blob, we are going to call our send mint request, and we're going to store our blob as an image /png. So again, if we have our canvas set and we have our canvas, then we'll create our canvas to a blob. If we create and convert our canvas to a blob successfully, we call our send NFT mint request and pass it the blob we've created, which it then will create our form data and call our API request. And then all we need to do is take this convert canvas to blob and set that to our on click of our button here. So on click, we're going to convert canvas to blob. And again, that does it for our application here. So if we come back to our app, we'll come to our instance of our engine here. We'll take a look at that. When we submit our request, we'll have our NFT contract here where we can look at our minted NFT. So we'll come back to our app here, and no such module failed. Let's just run yarn install to make sure everything's good here. Okay, let's take a look. Let's refresh. There we go. So we have our application here. We have our wallet connected. We can select, let's say green with a circle, and we'll just say first NFT here. And we have our mint NFT button that appears. So we click on that. It is now minting. We can also take a look at engine here. We can see that our request just went through. It's queued up and it failed. Let's see what happened here. So again, if we take a look at our contract here, we created an NFT collection contract. And if we look at permissions here, the only person that or wallet that's allowed to mint or create right now is the wallet that we deployed it with. So right now, our backend wallet doesn't have permission to mint or create NFTs. And again, that backend wallet is the one that is executing all these transactions. So we need to come to our engine here. Let's copy our backend wallet, come back to our contract. Under permissions here, we're going to add this backend wallet as a wallet that can mint or create NFTs on this contract. I'm going to hit add address, then come down here and update our permissions. So we're going to hit confirm here. There we go. We've updated that. So now if we take a look at our engine here, come back to our app first, actually. And let's add this one more thing here. In our function here to send, in our send mint NFT request here, after our catch, we're going to run finally set NFT minting to false. And we're also going to set the background, set the shape, and set the NFT name back to their empty strings. So we'll come back here. So again, we'll do green with a circle. We'll name it first NFT. Actually, let's refresh this because it didn't go reset it. So we'll do green circle, first NFT. We'll hit mint NFT here. We'll look at our engine. We just queued our mint here. It's then going to send that transaction. Our backend wallet is going to mint that NFT to the contract for us. And this is all happening behind the scene where all the user is going to see is that their NFT was successfully minted, and they can do another one here. So let's just do blue triangle, and we'll just say another NFT. We'll mint, and all the user sees on their end is that their NFT was successfully minted, and they can create their NFTs right here. So we can do another one, red NFT, and it was successfully minted. And again, all of this is getting executed here on the back end by engine. You can see our first two went in. Our red one is now being sent and mined. And if we look at our contract here and we go to NFTs, you can see here that all of our NFTs are getting minted. So first NFT, which was the green with the circle, another NFT, which was the blue with the triangle, red NFT, which is the red with the square. And there you have it. We built our very own NFT creator application. Now, again, this was a very simple version of this app, but you can imagine how you can build this app to be much more, whether you're going to allow your users to maybe select the layers of their PFP or NFT that you want them to be able to mint, or maybe they get to design their own NFT for a profile or character that they're going to use in the game. You can use this in many different ways and get creative with it. But again, I hope you folks enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on tutorial videos just like this. If you need any help or support, we'll drop a link down in the description below where you can open a support ticket with our support team and they can help answer any of the questions you may have. But again, I hope you folks enjoyed this video, and until next time, see ya.